They love salmon. They love broccoli. We can't replenish it fast enough, and shrimp.
All right, so I'm here with Mr. James Powers.
Yes, sir.
The general manager of the TANC.
Yes,
right?
sir.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. What is the TANC?
The Texas Athletics Nutrition Center. This is where we feed all the NCAA and Olympic sports athletes for Texas Athletics. We're able to fuel them for performance. So everything that you see in this area is for the student athletes, and it's customized to their individual needs and kind of whatever they want.
Do you sneak in here and get a couple meals sometimes?
I eat here every day.
Okay. Kind of walk me through what's unique about the TANC.
You know, I really think it's the variety. This whole room here is spread out. We've got lots of different stations. There's something for everybody. You're able to talk to a chef and get somebody to make what you're craving that day or what you need for your next activity, whether that's working out or performance or recovery. The first one here, kind of a new thing we're doing right now, it's smoothie bowls. We've got them in our logo Texas cups. You got a berry smoothie, and this one's mango peach, and different toppings to add to those. I think we take it one step further. Instead of just making something that they're gonna eat, it's, hey, here's a base, here's all your customization for it. This one is kind of a play off of our sandwich bar that we already have. We want people to come in and try some different breads and different meats with their sandwiches. It's a huge hit. The kids love to toast it in our pizza ovens back here. This is always a big hit. Our carving station. Today we had a Tuscan style top round. We've got a really great combi oven back there that is able to get the perfect roast every time. So one of my favorites. This is our main line. You're gonna see some starches and veggies on this side, and then kind of protein heavy over here on this side. We try to do a lean protein every day. So you've got to pretty lean with the roast and the salmon here. Burnt orange glazed salmon kind of speaks for itself. The kids love pasta, so you've got a pasta dish here, some handmade Italian meatballs, and then orange salmon. So always have fresh baked breads. Today we've got some biscuits here that have been a hit lately. A little honey butter glaze, not too much.
My favorite.
Just enough. This is a chili bar. We can morph it really into anything. It just happens to be this meal we're serving chili. 3 different ways. We got a veggie chili, a white chicken chili, and a Texas beef chili. Toppings for it again, so you kind of make it how you want. And then last over here is the omelet station. They love their omelets. So they'll come up, they actually fill out one of these tickets, say exactly what they want on it, put their name, how many eggs they want, kind of anything you could think in an omelet. So I think this is a good fail-safe and one of those customized things. If what we're serving that day is a little too out there or not in the flavor profile they want, they know they can come here and they know they can get this. Our Greek yogurt bar, we originally had a little more of a savory palette on this one and trying to incorporate avocados and bacon and things like that. The kids, they love the fruit. Really good, healthy alternative and a good snack.
How come you guys experiment with new meals?
Every day. Work with the dietitians on a daily basis to really go through our menu and get rid of the things that don't have a high take rate, the kids aren't enjoying. So, all right, we're gonna change that. And then we're always saying, okay, what's the trends? What's happening in, around town? What do the kids go to when they're not here? So we're taking those items and trying to incorporate them into our menus whenever we can. Our ability to change and adapt is really important to us.
Now this is Texas. This is UT. You guys are Longhorns.
Yep.
You got to eat steak, right?
Oh man, we do steak night quite often. Most operations like this, it's steak nights once every couple months. It's once a week, I think here we're doing steaks. Smoked brisket, huge one. We've got a 35-foot smoker. We did a meal for the football team during training camp and pulled that smoker up really to like their front door. Had the student athletes come out and they were actually getting the brisket right out of the smoker and did a whole barbecue theme around it. And it was kind of a showcase. It was a lot of fun. So we have to make sure that at Texas we do barbecue right.
When I first started 10 years ago, I had a few goals to start out with, and getting a dining facility that was large enough for all of our student athletes to eat in was one of those first goals. Where we started was really small. We weren't feeding all of our student athletes at the time, and some changes and the NCAA rules have helped us so that we're able to provide a meal for all of our student athletes, and we just didn't have the space for it. I also really wanted to use this space as, I call it like our learning lab. So we do a lot of teaching and consults in our offices. We can actually show them the food comes to life in here. So it's really important to us that we're able to utilize this space for that. The other thing that was important to me is that because we are feeding all of our student athletes, there's something in here for everybody, no matter your size, your goals, your sport, your expenditure that you have for that day. You can learn how to adjust those things. Each sport has a dietitian that they work with, and they can know what their individualized goals are. So then they can learn how to apply that in here. So the dietitians are in here doing some food coaching, but the athletes can also then use those skills that they have to then individualize it. So the way that we do that is we have it set up in a lot of different stations. In those stations, you can even individualize what you're getting. They eat so many meals in here every day. You don't want to get bored with what you're eating. So you can be really creative with going from our bowl station and getting some grains there and putting it on a salad, or making it into a grain bowl, or taking something from the main line and mixing it with your pasta station, having a smoothie and having a sandwich with it one day, and another day mixing it with the main line. The other goal that I had is whenever you walk in, it should feel like home. It should feel like a place that we have community with each other. Hopefully it's something that doesn't feel unapproachable. It feels very approachable because there's going to be things in here that maybe are new. Example, yesterday we did buffalo cauliflower. Everyone's used to buffalo wings, but we did it with cauliflower. So something that's prepared in a different way. But then there's always also going to be broccoli or green beans, because those are pretty well favored by most everyone. One thing that's special for the tank is that the athletes get to know our chefs, and they get to know sort of what their specialties are. I had somebody tell me the other day that if it has on the label, you know, Juan's casserole or Juan's ribs or Juan's whatever, that they're gonna go for that, because whatever he makes is incredible. So that's one I think that's special for the tank, is that the athletes get to know our chefs, and they get to know sort of what their specialties are, and maybe approach new foods because they are trusting of that person making the food. The project that we're kind of always working on is getting feedback from our student athletes, because we have athletes that are definitely recruited all from Texas and all from around here, but we have athletes that are recruited from all over the country and all over the world. So since I said it feels like home, we really want it to feel like home. We want food to feel like home. It's what feeds your soul. We want to teach nutrition through that way. And so really what we try to do is connect with the athletes and get feedback on how things are going. And they typically are happy to give us feedback on things that they want to see more of, or if things aren't going well, or if things that they really love. And so I make sure that we have meetings frequently. All the dietitians will come in and taste things and talk to their athletes, and then kind of give daily feedback to our food service staff about that. The beginning of the year, this year, we introduced a new bowl station, and that was the most popular. Any day that we have our carving station, I see people going through that quickly. I think because you can really see what you're getting and it just looks delicious, but I see that getting replenished a ton. Pasta's pretty popular. One time we did a great infographic showing how much pasta we go through and how much protein we go through. Anytime we have wing night, we do that once a week. That's super popular with everyone. When I started here, you know, it was 10 years ago, it was me and 550 athletes, and I couldn't individualize plans for all of them. But that is really with performance nutrition, is an athlete understanding what their body needs at different times based on what their goals are. And that can change even day to day. I think what's really special about our nutrition department is that we get the support to really say that every student athlete receives the same level of care. And so we have a staff of dietitians that can get to know their athletes and get to know what their goals are and get to know their day-to-day needs, and then guide them on what that is and help them put together those plates. For example, it's the spring, so we have a lot of teams that are in season, so their needs are very different than maybe some of our fall sports that are in their off season, and their goals are very different. And that's why in the tank, it's important that things can be individualized. So that way, our menu doesn't change for one team that's in season versus off season. Our menu is pretty varied year round. And then we work with the athletes to understand, okay, if you're a swimmer and you're in taper before competition, this is how we adjust that plate, because our hunger cues aren't always going to be able to guide us in that. So the dietitians can help the athletes know how to translate what we teach them in our consultations in here to what they put on their plate. And then hopefully they learn that then for those lifelong skills. The other thing I think that's really cool that we do, because Austin is known for good food, good music, at least once a year, if not a couple of times a year, we bring in local chefs. and they set up stations inside the tank. The athletes can go through and sort of taste the restaurants that they've heard of, because they hear about all those cool places to go eat, but then they can eat it here in the tank and try it out. In a place like the tank, when there's so many options, I think sometimes people can feel like, I want to try everything in here. I want to try all the foods and I want to try all the things that look good. And I tell them, you can do that anytime. We don't have to do it all today, right? So I think what's important is as you're walking through the door to kind of be thinking through, what have I had so far today with my nutrition? What do I still need in my nutrition? What sounds good based on what's on the menu? And how can I still meet my nutritional goals with what looks good for the day? But then the other thing that we do is we teach those portion sizes. So we usually use our hand as a guide. Your hands are bigger if you're a bigger person, you're smaller if you're a smaller person. So it's a great way to sort of do that portion control. And then it's a great way to teach them, okay, today is a 2/5 carbohydrate day. So today is a 1/5 carbohydrate day. So use that as a starting point, touch base with those hunger cues, and then go back if you're feeling you're needing more. Typically, the dietitians are also talking with the coaches. The great thing that we've done with our program is just build relationships with both the athletes and the coaches. So the coaches have trust in us that we're going to be working with our athletes to help them to achieve the goal to win. We as healthcare professionals also care about their long-term health and wellness and how to adjust that through different times of their lives. And then teaching them some cooking and teaching them how to grocery shop so they have those skills to last for the rest of their lives. When my staff asks me about that, I say the first thing you have to do is build relationships. You can be the most knowledgeable person in the room, but if you don't have trusting relationships, they're not going to believe what you say. So our presence, not only here at the Nutrition Center, but presence sometimes at practices, when we can help out at those practices and we can add value at those practices, and just being there in their environment and seeing the expenditure that they have and seeing the life that they go through and understanding what a challenge it is to be a student athlete and knowing what their schedule is like. If the coaches and the athletes understand that you understand and that's what you're trying to help them to achieve, you can use that knowledge that you have and then really take that really far, because then you're learning how to apply that because they've trusted you with their time.
Shout out to our partners at The Game Day. The Game Day is a new sports and sports betting media company built for today's fan. Check out the link in our bio and on our community tab for all their great content. And head to their website at thegameday.com for the latest sportsbook promos, betting tips, expert picks, and sportsbook app reviews.